Hi all, my name's Hannah and I'm the C5 Nut. Right, today there's a little treat for you guys. Um, Obviously you are aware of my green car. I've got a place where I can take my car and work on it without getting disturbed, without coming into any contact with anyone else at all. I'm well insulated from other people, um, and it's not too far away from my house. So as long as I don't come into contact with anyone, I should be okay. Right, I won't go into too much details, but obviously my friend relies heavily on his car, and he is a key worker. So we've got to look out for our key workers, especially in this time of need. So a few problems he's been having is his engine management light stays on, and his radio comes on and goes off when it wants to. He's got no control over it. So as I was moving my green car over to this safe place, I had the keys for his other car, and I will show you what we've done with it so far. So let's crack on. Hi all. I think I've died and gone to heaven. My C5, hang about, someone else's, and another one. Right, let's get a closer look. Alright, as you can see, this blue C5 is 2002 Estate LX, so it's a basic model. And here we come to the green machine, which is mine, which is the 2002 plate 2.2 HDI exclusive, which is top of the range. And then we've got another one here, and this one here is another 2002 C5 LX with the same engine as the blue one, which is a 2-litre HDI. Now obviously with this COVID-19 and all this stuff, my friend is a key worker, and my priority is obviously making sure that he doesn't catch anything along with me. I don't want to catch it either. So every time I get into his car, I always make sure that it's all clean. I've got some of that spray Dettol disinfectant stuff that I put in cars. So yeah, I'll spray that. I also clean my hands every time I get in the car as well as leave the car, and any of my diagnostic equipment that I use, including screwdrivers and spanners and things like that, all get cleaned before I even put them in my own car. So yeah, I'm doing everything what the government have said, regards to situations like this. So yeah, I don't want you guys to think that I'm just going out for the fun of it. It's not like that at all. Like I said, my friend is a key worker, and so it's vital for him to stay on the road. So in some ways it's me doing my bit for the NHS. So yeah, I won't go into too much detail exactly what he does, only because we're not this type of channel. So I just want you guys to know that if someone is in that situation and they do a wonderful job, key workers, and whatever you need, if I can be of service, I'm going to help. Like I said, it makes me feel like I'm doing my part. Right, I've found somewhere totally safe that I can do what I want to do to my car without being disturbed. I'm not in anyone's way. No one can actually find me. I am literally isolated. So as long as I take my precautions like the rest of us, we should be okay. NHS staff, I salute you. If I had any PPE sort of stuff, I obviously give you everything I have. Unfortunately, I don't have much of it myself. So yeah, so what can I say to this one? He's been having a lot of issues with this car, and so I came to plug my Diagnostics in, only to find out that my computer won't talk to the car at all. I've plugged in my power probe and noticed that there's no power at the OBD socket. I found a blown fuse. I've replaced the fuse. I noticed that as soon as you turn the ignition on, the fuse pops straight away. So further investigations, he also mentioned that the stereo randomly works and then it stops working. It's got an aftermarket stereo, so apart from keep replacing fuses and watch them blow all the time, clearly there's an issue there. So first things first, I popped the stereo out, only to come across the issue which has probably been causing quite a lot of issues. So yeah, I'm going to show you exactly what I found and how I've rectified it, and hopefully we can get my friend back on the road again. Okay, so that's his after stereo market, and here's the wiring loom. Now with all if you take the original stereo out of the car and you put an aftermarket in, it should have a wire harness. This one doesn't have one, and whoever had this before has just wired it in like that. That is a massive no-no on the C5. You can't have it like this, only because the red wire, which is this one here, now clearly has had some power issues, that's why he's crossed the wires like it is. But if you pull this red wire out from here, God, this is going to be fun. Well, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I've just pulled this red wire out of this one here. Now this red wire is what obviously powers up the radio. You should never plug it in straight into the wire harness of the C5, only because that particular pin or that cable is actually a data cable, and so by plugging an aftermarket stereo straight into there, the data doesn't transmit very well, and the car sees that it's got a load of issues. So what I've done is I found another cable, so hopefully that will plug straight into there, like so. This cable actually goes straight down to the bottom underneath this gear stick, and the plug for the cigarette lighter, you get the power from that way. So here's the cable here. I don't have my soldering iron to hand, it's at work, so all I've done for as a temporary is I scotch locked it to the cable. So as soon as I go back to work, I will be redoing this. I'll be putting a soldering stuff on there with heat shrink and make it all nice and pretty. So basically when you turn the ignition on, it powers up this socket, which then brings the power up to the stereo and then runs the stereo. Now the harness you can buy from Halfords and stuff like eBay obviously sits in between the harness for the car and the stereo, but there is a red wire coming off that harness which you've then got to connect down to the bottom here, and that's how it's actually fitted. I think I might have a spare harness kicking around somewhere. If I do, I will upload another video for that. If not, you're just going to have to bear with me, guys. So all I've done is green wire connected to that red wire, which powers the stereo. That gets its power down from the bottom. So hopefully, by doing this way, that has solved most of the electrical issues we've got on this car. And hopefully it won't keep blowing the bloody fuse down there. So, right, okay, so what I'm going to do is reinstate the stereo, make sure it works off the key, and then do some more further testing. Right guys, well, I'm, as you can see, back at home. So I've had a look through my spare parts, and good news, I've got that wire harness that I wanted to show you. Just move it out of the camera. Here we go. Right, put that back on. Right, now this here is the wire harness adapter with a really long lead, as you can see from that. Right, now you plug that end into the car, and you then plug that end into your, obviously your stereo, your aftermarket stereo. Now the difference is this red wire here. It's not connected to the car at all. This long lead would have to go down through the back and towards the cigarette lighter, where obviously when you switch the ignition on or off, the cigarette lighter comes on and off, that's what the radio needs. So that's the red wire. The yellow wire is only a memory for the settings on the radio. So if you say like programmed radio 1 to channel 2, or radio, I don't know, wave 105, you want it on button 5. It's down to your preference, but you get the idea. Basically, this yellow wire saves that setting, so you're not having to keep switching the radio on and then having to keep tuning it in all the time, which can be quite frustrating. I've had quite a lot of radios you have to do that, and it's just, yeah, might as well pull the radio out if it keeps doing that, or better still, you should just wire it up properly in the first place. Right, now the pin on the radio side of things, as you can see, it's yellow, orange, black, and then red is down at the bottom. So that's how a standard ISO for the radio is actually wired in, but the C5s are different. Now if you have a look on this one, where the pin would normally be for the yellow wire isn't there at all. It's down where the black wire used to be. Now the reason behind it is that particular wire is always live all the time, but where the yellow wire used to be, that is actually a data, it's a CAN bus cable. So if you were to stick that wire in through there, that would just cause too much mayhem, and you have endless of issues with the car. I've seen it a number of times. I can't tell you how many times I've had this problem. It's not just on the C5s, it's most Citroen related, as well as Peugeot. The Peugeot 206 are also well known for this issue. And yeah, so in the car, obviously I didn't have this adapter because obviously I wasn't at home, so all I had to do was fit a cable just to make it do exactly this. So yeah, you can get these from Halfords, you can get them off eBay. I think Halfords are about £20. I know it's quite a lot for a harness, but for what it actually does, yeah, if you're great with electronics like I am, you just undo the red wire for the stereo and put it on a different wire like I've done today. So yes, harness. If you're going to change your if you're going to change your stereo from a genuine to an aftermarket, always get these harnesses. They are worth it in the end. Replaced or reinstated the stereo, and it's working perfectly, no faults with it at all. When it came to my diagnostics, obviously I had my laptop running at the same time as me sorting the issue out with the stereo, and the battery in my laptop has gone completely flat, so I wasn't able to plug my diagnostics in to find out exactly why the light was still on. But so obviously I will go over there first thing tomorrow, and we're going to find out why the engine management light is staying on. If I need to order any parts, I've got a few days to get that organised. Obviously my friend's coming back on in a few days time, so I really want to get that car to so I'm happy that he can drive the car all the way up to London without having any issues. So even though it's drivable, it will do from A to B. I'm really cautious to why the lights are coming on. So I'm just hoping it's just a glitch or something like that. But yeah, I'll see exactly what's going on with the car. Further, so my plan for this week is tomorrow sort out the blue car, find out why the engine management light comes on. So that's priority number one. As soon as that's done, I can then focus on my green car, which I'll be doing driver's front drop link and front diss and pads. Hopefully Wednesday I will be replacing the exhaust system, literally from the DPF all the way back. The DPF is showing signs of, it's got a couple of cracks in it, and there's 4 bolts holding the DPF to the cat. Now 2 of the bolts are missing, they're rusted out, and if the car goes in for an MOT like that, it is classed as a fail, because the MOT tester will assume that somebody's been playing around with it, and therefore it's a fail. So DPF is getting replaced. I've also got a replacement exhaust back box to fit on it as well, because mine's seen, but it's seen its days. So that's getting replaced, and hopefully Thursday I'll start make work on the rear end. So it's having the centre sphere replaced, and also the hydraulic pipes replaced. Not to mention the driver's rear ram that needs replacing. So hopefully that may go probably Thursday into Friday. But if I can get it done Thursday, brilliant. Then Friday we can then do some brake work on the rear. Again, that needs rear disc and pads. But there is a couple of issues with the rear brakes, and I will go into more depth with you nearer the time. It's a classic Citroen C5 related thing where there's so much corrosion between the lower trailing arm and the calipers. There's so much corrosion in there, the things start bending. Well, when I looked on my car the other day, I was quite surprised with how bad it actually was. It's probably the worst I've actually come across, but no doubt you guys out there somewhere may have seen a lot worse than me, but this is the worst I've seen. So hopefully fairly soon I'll be doing that. And then once all the work's done on my green car, I'm going to start work on the white one. The white C5 is a long project that me and my friend started back in November. He's having rear trailing arm bearings replaced, which I've already done. It's already fitted to the car, but it's having new rear disc and pads, it's having front disc and pads, it's having new brake pipes because they're corroded, and it's also having a lot of engine work. So yeah, I've got a lot of work, I've got a lot of content, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks we can actually get things moving, and hopefully this sodding virus will bugger off, because if you're like me, I'm struggling. So yeah. Right, so if you like my content and wish to subscribe, please do. If you like my content and obviously want to comment, please do. I will try my best to answer as many questions as you may have. And yeah, if you wish to tick the bell, any videos I upload in the near future, you get a notification. And yeah, a big shout out to my ZX guy. Love your content, mate. As always, you do brilliant work. You've already given me some ideas again. So yeah. Please, if you want to check out his page, it's called the ZX Guy, and I will leave a link in the description so you can go and check his channel out. Right, this is where I'm going to leave you to it, because I've been working for God knows how many hours, and I've still got a ton of hours editing, so that'll be interesting. Right, take care people, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.